Today, I went and saw Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey in theaters, in IMAX, and wow, what an epic movie. So, here's how this video is going to go. First, I'm going to talk about non-spoilers, then I'm going to just delve into my spoiler thoughts. I'm not going to focus on non-spoiler for too long, just to where I can get all my thoughts out in the open and not have to worry about that spoiler tag. So, first off, I want to talk about the performances. Matt Damon and Anne Hathaway, I said in my shorts review that they were the highlights, and they definitely are. Other notable highlights in the movie for performance-wise is Robert Pattinson. He did fantastic as the antagonist for this movie. And all of the suitors, the plot with the suitors and them trying to take the throne away from Telemachus and Odysseus, it's just incredible writing. Christopher Nolan just knows how to create this masterclass of a story that you just couldn't get anywhere but with him. Then, as far as the visuals go, everything, I didn't really tell anything that was CGI. I don't even know if the whirlpool scene was CGI. It was incredibly filmed. The scenes, I'm going to go from the beginning to the ending, but as far as non-spoilers go, those are my non-spoiler thoughts. Epic movie, great performances, great script. Now I just want to go and start talking about spoilers where I can talk about some of these effects. Now, practically, you have the Cyclops that is 100% practical, and you can see it, and you can feel it. You can see the texture on the skin of the Cyclops. You can just feel that sound design whenever he screams. The scene with the Cyclops is so intense and horrifying. Whenever he first walks in, you can just feel this presence, the long arms, the lengthy body. It was just visceral and horrifying. Now, as far as other effects go in the movie, you have the scene with the Scylla, which is kind of like a Hydra, where it comes out of a rock and it's like multiple heads. The way they did that was also very practical. I love the rocky design of it and how you could tell it was practical. You didn't need to see all of it to understand what it was. And whenever it went back into the cave, just the design of the mouth of the cave and all the heads, how they fit perfectly, and you could just tell how much care and design was put into that. And the ships, the way that they built the ships, it just draws you in. The minute that they set sail and have that massive sail with this huge ocean, it's just so expansive and breathtaking. Other notable special effects is the scene with the pigs. If you read the Odyssey and you know Homer's tale, you know that they go to an island and his men get turned into pigs. That scene is so disgusting. That is what I will say. I was horrified, but I think that the main emotion that I felt in that scene was absolute disgust at seeing her just mangle their heads, tear back their noses, and form them into pigs. Now, whenever I was a kid, my mom would read us the Greek myths in like a kid's book version. And she'd read us the Odyssey, and I always thought that part where she turned them into pigs was always kind of unsettling. But in the book, she used like a wand, like illustrations would show her using a wand. So I didn't know what to expect for this movie. And the way that she just forms their ears, and you can see the little pig hairs forming on their ears, is just amazing practical effects. Just molding them like clay. Beautifully done, very horrifying, and perfectly encapsulates what that scene should be. And whenever Odysseus comes in, it just makes it all the more intense. You hear his men screaming as pigs, and you don't know if he's going to eat it. Even though if you've read the book, even if you haven't, you know that he's going to make it through this. It still doesn't make it any less intense whenever he has that cursed soup in front of him, and he's about to eat it, and then he just snaps out of it, and he realizes what's going on. Then other effects in the movie, just the fight scenes, whenever the gods are shown, it's not usually in a physical form. Only Zendaya's character is really the only physical representation of a god, other than in Hades, whenever the actual Hades is there trying to get Odysseus' old men to talk to Odysseus. With the gods, they're shown through nature. Zeus, lightning, Poseidon, the ocean, waves, winds. There's a scene where they just ate the sheep that they were not supposed to. Odysseus' men were told not to eat these very specific cattle, and they got pushed to their limits, and they did. And then whenever it cuts, it's just merciless. You can feel Zeus throwing lightning bolts. Whenever it cut and the lightning hit, I could picture Zeus throwing the lightning down. It is incredible, epic visuals. And then as far as the story goes, it's very much so dedicated to just adapting the book from beginning to end. They may like adapt some things, like they didn't have the Cyclops talk about nobody and how Odysseus tricked him that way, but they did pluck out his eye and he called to Poseidon. I'm very glad that they kept him being the son of Poseidon. The way they did the sirens was beautiful. I did not expect them to go into not only the beauty of the song, but also the horror of the song that the sirens sing and just why it's so enticing. And that was just beautiful storytelling. And as far as that's the first two acts of the movie, going into the third act, where he's going up against all these suitors, is perfectly set up. And before that scene where he fights them all, he has this conversation with Anne Hathaway where both of them are just doing incredible performances. And then it cuts to this battle scene on Troy and the Trojan horse and showing what happened there. I'm so glad they saved this for the end, because whenever they originally sneak in and open the gate, they cut away before the massive battle sequence. I was like, oh, I kind of would have wanted to see that. They show it. At the very end, they show the battle scene, them just tearing down Troy, the violence, and how that just messes with the mind of Odysseus. And it's the entire point of this movie is the dehumanization of people, and how these powers take advantage of people, and how the gods are kind of shown in so many different lights, from being benevolent to being terrifying to being over-controlling. And that's just the amazing writing of Christopher Nolan. And then in that final battle scene, it's so satisfying whenever he's just killing all the suitors after sneaking in as this beggar into this competition where Anne Hathaway tells them, hey, you guys need to complete this task. You need to be able to string Odysseus's bow. So all these suitors are trying to get this bow, trying to string the bow, and they can't. Only Odysseus can. So whenever he strings it, it's just everybody's quiet. And then he fires the arrow, and everybody knows who he is now. And then the doors are locked, weapons are upstairs. The setup is fantastic for an amazing action sequence. Tom Holland as Telemachus does really great in this sequence whenever he goes up to fight the dude upstairs who's trapped with all the weapons, as he tries to get the weapons down to the other suitors. And then Tom Holland's just fighting him, trying to stop him. And Odysseus is just fighting all these people. And one of the coolest moments is whenever the first suitor kneels in respect. And then all these others throughout the fight, you can see start kneeling, and just, he doesn't touch them. He just focuses on the ones who haven't surrendered. Great character writing, very dedicated script, amazing directing. So I highly recommend this movie to anybody who hasn't seen it already. I would rate it a 9 out of 10 simply because it is a little bit slower, but the build-up pays off so well in the end. The performances are incredible throughout. I would put this one on par with Interstellar. The best Christopher Nolan movies, I think, are like Dark Knight, Memento, Prestige, Inception. I don't think this is to that level because of it's a little bit slower, but I do think that it is on the level of like Interstellar, which is a fantastic movie. So if you haven't seen it already, I would urge you to check it out. If you are a parent who's thinking about taking your kids to go see it, do note it is rated R. There is some nudity. There is some language. There's probably 3 F words, I think, throughout the entire movie. Speaking on the controversies of this movie, people were upset about the castings of one of Odysseus' men that they thought was playing Achilles. He's not playing Achilles. And there was another actress who was cast as one of the queens, and apparently she's a different ethnicity than she's supposed to be. She's barely in the movie, and she does amazing whenever she's in it. Everybody in this movie serves a purpose. Even Travis Scott just serving as background noise, and in the opening, he's just adding to the epicness of the moments. I don't think that any of the things that people were upset about deter this movie. Some of my negatives would be, in the beginning, it is a little bit hard to get used to the writing style because it isn't Greek. It isn't like that epic to start out with, but once you get used to it and get into the story, I would say about 25, maybe 30 minutes in, you'll actually really get used to that writing, and then it just blends in perfectly along with the epicness of this story. As far as the rest of the movie goes, I would say there isn't like any really violent scenes. there are things that happen off screen, nothing explicitly shown on screen that is violent. So if you are taking your kids to go see it, I would say this would be a good movie for like 16-year-olds and up, if you're okay with them seeing a little booty. And it's really just shown during the part on the island where they get turned into animals, and then they get turned out of animals, and then they're naked, and it doesn't show anything in the front. So if you're wanting to take your kids to go see this, I wouldn't take them to go see it. If you wanted to take like your 16-year-old, maybe your 17-year-old to go see this, I would say it's okay for them, but it's all up to you. Just wanted to let parents know that. All right, as far as the rest of you go, have you seen this movie? If you have, please let me know your thoughts down below. The spoilers are all going to be throughout the comments, so if you don't want any spoilers, then don't look in the comments. I don't know why you'd be this far in the video if you didn't want any spoilers, but leave your thoughts down there. Make sure that you like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll